C-25-373. Mr. Konig is present in court with all four counsel of record. All jurors have acted in the court. Mr. Garner, state's next witness.
The state calls Tracy Spacek to the stand.
solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Good afternoon. Before we start with your questions, can you pull the microphone close to yourself and then try to speak into the microphone as much as you can?
Yes.
Can you please state your name?
Tracy Spacek,
And what is your occupation?
detective for the Honolulu Police Department.
How long have you been employed by HPD?
Just shy of 21 years.
Were you assigned to be the lead investigator for an attempted murder second case under HPD report 25-110958?
Yes.
What's the role of a lead investigator in these kind of cases?
For these type of cases, role would be to go to the scene, delegate duties to other personnel, canvass the area, conduct interviews, search for physical evidence.
So when you say delegate, what does that mean?
Big cases like this, there's a lot of people involved, and it would be delegating different duties to different units.
So you don't do everything yourself?
No.
In the course of delegating and overseeing, do you oversee and integrate the work of other agencies that may be helping with the investigation?
Yes.
During the course of your investigation into this case, did you determine what the scene of the incident was?
Yes.
What was that scene?
The scene was on the Palipuka Trail, which is located at 5101 Pali Highway, which is the mouth of the trail is just adjacent to the parking lot of the Pali Lookout.
Over the course of the investigation, was there any physical evidence recovered from the Palipuka hike?
Yes.
And what was that?
Evidence recovered on the actual trail was a cardigan sweater, a rock, and some blood.
What appeared to be blood at the time?
Yes, what appeared to be blood at the time.
Thank you.
Correct.
Did you actually examine the rock in this case?
Yes.
Was the rock smooth or jagged?
It was jagged.
When you examined the rock, where did you retrieve it from?
I retrieved it from HPD's evidence room.
Okay. And as a detective, are you allowed to enter the HPD evidence room alone to retrieve evidence?
No.
Who is allowed to enter the HPD evidence room to retrieve evidence?
Just the evidence specialists that are assigned there.
And the custodians?
And the custodians.
All right. And was this rock listed as in the evidence room as item number 2 under HPD report 25-110958?
Yes.
What date and time did you retrieve the rock from the evidence room?
I retrieved the rock from the evidence room on March 27, 2025 at about 14:57 hours.
And what was your purpose in going to retrieve the rock?
My purpose in retrieving the rock was to take photos of it, weigh it, and measure it.
Right. And is that what you did?
Yes.
Detective, I'm going to show you what has been previously marked as State's Exhibit 68 through 71 inclusive. Previously shown to defense counsel, but showing one more time. May I approach the witness?
Yes.
Okay, Detective Spacek, I've just handed you what's been marked States 68 through State 71. Could you take a look at those exhibits, and when you're done, look up? you done?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recognize what I've handed you?
Yes.
What are these?
These are photos of the rock.
And who took these photos?
I did.
And do these photos fairly and accurately depict the rock as you observed it and were weighing and measuring it on March 27th, 2025?
Yes.
At this point, the state will move states 68 through 71 into evidence.
No objection. What is marked for identification as State's Exhibit 68 through 71 will be received into evidence.
Okay. We're going to publish them in a row, Detective. So we're going to start putting state 68 on the screen. Okay. And you can see it up there, but you can also follow the exhibit that you have
Okay.
with you.
Oh, yeah.
What does this photo show, Detective?
Shows a photo of the rock,
In which part of the rock?
the jagged side with blood, well, or what appears to be blood on it.
Okay. And why did you take this photo?
Just to get, I just want to take this photo just to, so you can see the side of the rock that possibly had made contact with human skin.
Okay. We're going to now publish State's Exhibit 69. Detective Spacek, what does this photo show?
This photo shows, it depicts a close-up of the rock with strands of possible human hair stuck to it or attached to it.
We're going to publish now State's Exhibit 70. Okay, we've got State's Exhibit 70 on the screen, Detective. What does this exhibit show?
This exhibit depicts the rock and one of the measurements that was taken with a ruler.
Okay. And our last photo for now, publishing State's Exhibit 71. What does this photo show?
This photo depicts the rock sitting on a scale.
Okay. Now, was this, a super technically calibrated scale?
I don't believe so. No.
Okay. What was the purpose in taking the photo?
Purpose in taking the photos was just to show the consistency of the surface of the rock, what was on the rock at the time it was recovered, and also to show the dimensions of the rock, the width and the length, and also the weight.
Okay. And when we're speaking about weight, we're speaking generally, right?
Generally, yes.
So the general weight of the rock. Okay. And what was the general weight of the rock?
The general rate of the weight of the rock was a little over a pound, maybe like a pound, 1.2 pounds.
I'm going to zoom in on the screen on the scale right there. Does that say, and you can look at the screen here, Detective, say 1 pound, 2 ounces?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to take the exhibit down. Okay, and I'm going to actually walk up and retrieve those exhibits from you now, Detective. Okay, so after you took these photos of the rock on March 27th, 2025, what did you do with it?
After taking photos, I put it back in the bag it was recovered in and resealed it and submitted it back into evidence.
Okay. To this same evidence custodian or different?
Same evidence custodian.
And during the time that you took the rock from the evidence custodian to the time that you gave the rock back to the same evidence custodian, was that rock in your full custody and control?
Yes.
Did anybody else touch the rock at all during that time?
No.
And during that time, did you tamper with, alter, substitute anything on the rock?
No.
Were you wearing gloves?
Yes.
And how did you package the rock before you gave it back to the evidence specialist?
I placed it back into the bag that it came in and I resealed it.
With new evidence tape?
Yes.
All right. In this case, in addition to the evidence that you talked over that was recovered so far, Did you recover any evidence yourself?
Yes.
What did you recover?
I recovered a black Patagonia backpack, or like a side bag type of, yeah, it's like a sling bag type of bag.
Got it. And can you describe for us the circumstances of how you recovered that?
Yes. After the suspect was arrested at the scene, or just a little bit lower than the scene, I recovered the backpack or that bag from Officer Tracy Nicola.
Okay. After you recovered that bag from Officer Nicola, what did you do with it?
When he handed it to me, it was already in a brown bag. I recovered the bag and took it back to when I went back to the station, I sealed up the bag, labeled it, and secured it in my drawer, my office drawer, that can be locked with a key.
Got it. All right, Detective Spacek, I'm going to now approach with what's been marked as State's Exhibit 72, showing to Defense Counsel. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay, Detective, I've just handed you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 72. Do you recognize what I've just handed you?
Yes.
What is it?
It's the bag that I sealed and labeled.
Is it a photograph of that bag?
Yes.
Okay, and where's the bag in the photograph?
It's in the drawer that I secured and locked it in.
And does this photograph fairly and accurately depict the bag after you put it in that drawer at your desk?
Yes.
At this point, the state moves Exhibit 72, State 72, into evidence.
Mr. Otake,
No objection.
what has been marked for identification as State's Exhibit 72 is received into evidence?
Okay, and Detective, I'm going to put it up on the screen next to you and ask a couple questions. Okay, when you say you sealed the bag, where did you seal the bag?
I sealed it at the police station at the 801 South Beretania Street.
Okay. I think that might have been a bad question. Where on the bag did you seal it?
The bag was placed in a brown paper bag. The top of the bag was sealed with red evidence tape.
Got it. Okay, and looking at the photo right there, is the evidence tape we see at the top of the bag, that's what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry for the confusing question. Is your desk at the HPD station in a place that's open to the public?
No.
How is the HPD building secured?
The HPD police station in Honolulu is secured with numerous electronic doors that have to be accessed with a key access card.
Do members of the public have those kind of key access cards?
No.
And from the time did you say you locked this drawer as well?
Yes.
From the time you locked the bag in that drawer to the time that you eventually retrieved it from that drawer, when you retrieved it, was the seal still intact?
Yes.
Okay. During your investigation in the case, did you end up executing a search warrant on the black bag contained in the photo we see now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to approach now with State Exhibits 73 through 86. Show them to Defense Counsel. Okay, previously shown to Defense Counsel. May I approach?
Yes.
Excuse me. I'm going to retrieve 72. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Detective Spacek, I've handed you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 73 through 86. Could you take a minute and flip through and make sure you see every exhibit? Okay, Detective Spacek. After reviewing all the exhibits, do you recognize what they are?
Yes.
What are these exhibits?
These exhibits are pictures of the items that were recovered from within the Patagonia bag upon the execution of the search warrant.
Okay. Do these photos fairly and accurately depict the bag, its contents, during your execution of the search warrant?
Yes.
At this point, the state moves exhibits 73 through 86 into evidence.
Mr. Otake.
No objection.
Okay, what has been marked for identification as State's Exhibits 73 through 86 inclusive are received into evidence?
Okay, Detective Spacek, we're going to go through each photo one by one. I'm just going to ask you what is the photo showing, okay?
Okay.
Publishing now, State's Exhibit 73. What does that photo show us?
Photo is showing the backside of the bag, where if you were wearing it, that part would be touching your body. There's a big red stain that appears to be possibly blood, but we don't know that.
Okay. And publishing now, State's Exhibit 74.
This photo depicts the bag if you were wearing it, and that's the part you'd actually see that's on the outside. Again, red stains all over it, depicting possible biohazard, blood, possibly.
Okay. State's Exhibit 75.
This picture depicts the bag laying on a desk with like a side view profile. Again, you can see red stains all over it.
States, and I'm going to pause right here. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to keep moving, sorry. State's Exhibit 76.
This picture depicts, this is the middle side pocket.
Is this the middle side pocket or the strap pocket, Detective?
Objection, beating.
This is a strap pocket.
Okay. No problem. Did you find anything in there?
Yeah, no, nothing was in there. Sorry.
Publishing now, State's Exhibit 77.
This is the middle side pocket.
Okay. And
Sorry.
what can you see inside that middle side pocket?
A black eyeglasses case.
Okay. And now we're going to go to State's Exhibit 78. What does this photo show?
It shows the black eyeglasses case with its contents.
Okay. Same one from the middle pocket you were just talking about?
Yes, the middle, the side middle pocket.
Thank you. All right, publishing now, State's Exhibit 79. What does this exhibit show?
This shows an orange whistle with the lanyard along with the sunglasses case.
Okay. Which pocket did the orange whistle with the lanyard come from?
Came from the middle side pocket.
Same pocket or different pocket as the sunglasses case?
The same pocket.
Publishing now, State's Exhibit 80. What does this photo show?
Now this photo depicts two sunglasses and lactase tablets in packets that came out of the sunglasses case.
Okay. Next photo, State's Exhibit 81. What are we looking at in State's Exhibit 81, Detective?
This photo depicts a large side pocket with contents in it.
In terms of size of the pockets in the bag, could you rank the ones we've done so far?
Yeah, so the first one was the strap pocket. The second one was the middle side pocket, and this one that we're currently looking at is the large side pocket.
Okay. And all right, do you later photograph the contents?
Sorry.
Did you later photograph the contents of this pocket?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to publish now State's Exhibit 82. What does this photograph show?
So this photograph depicts the contents that came out of the middle side pocket, or the large side pocket. Excuse me.
Okay. Were there any other contents of the large side pocket other than these?
No, just that.
Publishing State's Exhibit 83. What does this photo show?
This photo depicts an Apple iPhone.
Okay. And from the same pocket we've just been seeing?
Yes.
Publishing now State's Exhibit 84. What does this photo show?
This photo depicts the same Apple iPhone with the side of it with a little bit red stain on it, possibly from the same stain that was all over the bag, along with the empty SIM card slot.
Okay. Could you use the pointer that's right next to you on the witness stand to direct everybody's attention to the SIM card slot you were just mentioning? Okay. So that's in the direct center of the photo?
Correct.
I'm going to zoom in on that section. Okay. And now that we've seen the SIM card slot, is this a zoomed in photo?
Yes.
Detective Spacek, we're now publishing State's Exhibit 85. What does this photo show?
This photo depicts the actual SIM card, a loose SIM card, and a SIM card holder.
When you open this Patagonia backpack, where were the SIM card and the SIM card holder?
They were just in the bag, in the actual pouch, the large side pocket, just loose, just lying there.
Was there any SIM card or SIM card holder installed into the phone?
No.
Do you recall if the phone was on or off?
It was off.
All right, publishing now State's Exhibit 86. Detective Spacek, what does this exhibit show us?
This picture depicts the cash that was found in there, along with various credit cards and Hawaii driver's license. This was all actually clipped to money clip, this carbon fiber money clip.
Could you use that pointer and point to us where the money clip that this all came in
Yes.
is?
All of these items were all bunched up and clipped into this money clip right here.
Okay, and you're directing your pointer to the left side of the screen.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I'm going to take the exhibit down. And I'm going to retrieve that stack of exhibits from you now, Detective. Detective Spacek, did you recover any syringe from that black Patagonia backpack?
No.
Other than the items that we've seen in these photos, was there anything else in that black Patagonia backpack?
No.
Detective Spacek, with regards to the iPhone and the SIM card that you found in the backpack, did you take any other action regarding these items during your investigation?
Yes.
Okay, what did you do about the SIM card and the iPhone?
I prepared a search warrant.
Are you a techie kind of guy, Detective?
No, I'm not.
So who ended up executing that search warrant on the phone and the SIM card?
That search warrant was executed by Detective Thomas E. Numa, who is from Cybercrimes.
During the course of your investigation, did you execute a search warrant on a different bag?
Yes.
Which bag was that?
This other bag was a black Nike fanny bag.
And how did the Honolulu Police Department end up coming into possession of that black Nike fanny bag?
We were notified that Arielle Konig discovered the bag at her residence in Maui, and she, after discovering after she discovered what was in it or whatever, she ended up notifying Maui Police Department, who then recovered it as evidence, and that's how it ended up getting shipped to us.
Okay. Did HPD give the Maui Police any directions?
Yes.
Okay, what did you direct the Maui Police to do?
If they could, if their evidence custodians or specialists could box it up and ship it to us.
Okay. And did you actually inspect the shipment that was gotten back?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'm going to publish now what's already in evidence. State's Exhibit 87. Detective Spacek, I'm so sorry. It's now on the screen. Do you recognize what this is?
Yes.
Okay, what is this?
That is the box that the stuff was shipped over from the Maui PD.
Okay, And I'm sorry, Detective, I'm going to actually approach and hand you hard copies of the exhibits as well, so you can look through them along with us on the screen.
Okay. Thank you.
Detective Spacek, what are those blue things on the box?
That's evidence tape.
When you received the box, was any of the evidence tape broken?
No, it wasn't.
All right, I'm now publish State's Exhibit 88. What does this exhibit show?
This photo depicts the actual Nike bag itself.
I'm going to publish State's Exhibit 89. What does this photo depict?
This depicts a close-up of the Nike bag's the most outside pocket with stuff in it.
Okay. The contents of the
The
pocket.
contents of the pocket.
Publishing now State's Exhibit 90. What does this photo show?
This photo depicts the contents that came out of that most outside pocket.
We're going to move on, Detective, to State's Exhibit 91. What does this exhibit show?
It shows a packaged medical type. I don't know if it's a needle or some kind of something, but it's some kind of medical, like for medical use.
And before we go further into anything medical, are you a doctor?
No, I'm not.
Do you know the technical terms for medical things?
No.
Okay. I'll just ask you to do your best, Detective, okay?
Okay.
All right. Publishing now State's Exhibit 92. What is this?
This is the front side of the item that was from the previous photo, and it's just the packaging and the label of what it is.
Okay. All right, I'm going to publish now State's Exhibit 93. Detective Spacek, what does State's Exhibit 93 show?
This one depicts in the big pocket, just a bunch bags and a bunch of medical supplies.
I'm going to publish State's Exhibit 94. What does this exhibit show?
This shows all the contents that was in that pocket of the bag.
And although you may not be an expert, do you recognize any of the medical supplies?
Yes, it looks like a stethoscope, syringes, a bunch of maybe medicine vials. Looks like IV bags, safety glasses.
Publishing State's Exhibit 95. What does this exhibit show?
This shows vials of medication, and I don't even know what that is. In the red, the top right.
On the top right, you don't recognize what that is?
No.
It's okay. We'll publish now State's Exhibit 96. Do you know what these are, Detective Spacek?
No, I don't.
Okay. We'll move on. Publishing now State's Exhibit 97. Do you recognize what this is, Detective Spacek?
Yes, looks like a syringe and there's a liquid in it, but I don't know what that is.
Publishing now State's Exhibit 98. Could you tell us what this exhibit shows?
Yeah, Exhibit 98, it depicts a Ziploc type bag with like 3 syringes and 2 medicine vials in it.
Publishing now State's Exhibit 99. What does this photo show?
99 also shows a Ziploc bag with different type of syringes and 2 medicine vials.
Publishing State's Exhibit 100. What does this show?
It also shows another Ziploc with Looks like big syringes, maybe some small ones, and a medicine vial.
State's Exhibit 101. What does this exhibit show?
This one depicts a Ziploc bag with a bunch of unopened syringes in packages.
All right, and publishing State's Exhibit, we're almost at detective. State's Exhibit 102. What does this photo show?
This photo shows the very back pocket. Like if you was wearing the bag closest to your body, that's the contents of that back pocket.
And publishing State's Exhibit 103.
And this photo depicts, looks like a charging cord, the lactase tablet packets. I don't know if that's a mask. Looks like some metallic hooks maybe to hang IVs. I'm not sure. And his work ID maybe.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what exhibit number was that?
Exhibit 103.
And then the green. I'm not sure if that's needles or I'm not sure.
Okay. Got it. All right, I'm going to take the exhibit down. Okay. In addition to this black Nike fanny bag that was shipped from Maui, was anything else shipped over?
Yes, in the box was along with the bag was a laptop computer.
And what actions did you take with regards to the laptop computer?
I prepared another search warrant.
Did you execute the search warrant on that laptop yourself?
No.
Okay. Do you know who did?
Detective Thomas E. Numa from Cybercrimes.
All right, I'm going to collect those exhibits I just handed you, Detective. Okay, Detective Spacek, did you respond to the Poly Lookout on March 24th, 2025?
Yes.
How many different HPD divisions responded?
At least 13.
I'm going to say, okay. Any other government agencies?
Yes. We had DLNR out there also.
Did HFD also respond?
HFD also, yes.
Did you direct officers to search for any evidence at the scene?
Yes.
What did you direct them to search for?
I directed them, all the units involved, to, of course, we were searching for the suspect, but at the same time we're looking for any type of evidence that may have been connected to the incident. Syringes, vials.
Did you, as a result of all that search up at the Poly, were any syringes recovered?
No.
Were any vials recovered?
No.
Was a phone belonging to Arielle Konig ever recovered?
No.
Was a purse belonging to Arielle Konig ever recovered?
No.
When defendant was arrested, were any syringes found on his person?
No.
Did you order the officers to search the bottom of the cliff or the bottom of the Poly on the windward side?
Yes. But we were unable to do so because just the area where it's situated, in order for anybody to go down there, they'd either have to rappel, which is way too high, or just be inserted by helicopter or hike in. But if we was to hike in, it would probably take several hours to even get in there. You'd have to cut a path. It would have been hard.
Is there any trails that you're aware of that go to the bottom of that cliff?
No.
Okay, Detective, you've talked about 4 search warrants so far in this case. Did you prepare any other search warrants?
Yes.
And what was that for?
For buccal swab to recover from the suspect.
And did you execute that search warrant yourself?
No.
Do you know who did?
Yes, was Mohammed Salameh.
Right, Detective. Aside from what you testified about from the Maui Police. Did everything else you testified about occur in the city and county of Honolulu, state of Hawaii?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions at this time.
Cross-examination. Good afternoon, Detective Spacek. Just a few questions. So were you the lead detective on the case?
Yes.
So part of your job was to kind of decide who to interview, and as part of it is you decide which witnesses we should follow up with an interview, correct?
Yes.
And then that way you establish contact with them, you have their contact information. If you need to subpoena them to come or testify, then at least you're in touch with them too, right?
Yes.
Did you interview a man in this case by the name of Jeff Miller?
Yes.
And you interviewed him, you had his cell phone, his address,
Yes.
and you talked to him, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you talked about collecting evidence and documenting it. Did you go hike up the trail that day?
No.
Okay. But you sent evidence specialists to go up there and take some photos of the rock, right?
Yes.
And she took photos of the rock, right?
Yes.
Were you aware, as the lead detective, that another officer had moved the rock around before she photographed it?
I was aware that it wasn't in the place that it should have been when she photoed it. What?
You were aware that it was not in the place that it should have been when she photographed it, right?
Well, I was aware that where she photoed it, it wasn't where supposedly it originally was.
Okay. Did you document that in your report in any way, sir?
No.
I want to just ask you briefly about this bag, the one from Maui, and then we'll be done, sir. First of all, just to be clear, Mr. Dirks, could we please pull up Exhibit 93? Sir, you can see this on the screen here.
Yes.
So just to be clear, just to be crystal clear, this bag was recovered on Maui, not on Oahu, correct?
Correct.
And then on Maui, it was recovered to your knowledge because when Ms. Konig says she discovered it, she actually contacted her attorney who then talked to the Maui police, correct?
Correct.
And then the way it got to Oahu and its contents got to Oahu is then the MPD, Maui police, sealed it up and mailed it to you at your request, yes?
Correct.
You were aware, in your investigation, you learned that Gerhardt Konig was a medical doctor and anesthesiologist, yes?
Yes.
And if we could please go, Mr. Dirks, to number 94. Okay, and you know, I know you're not a medical doctor, and neither am I, but certain things that were in the bag of this anesthesiologist was a stethoscope, yes?
Yes.
And some glasses, IV bags, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever heard, you know, and you're being a detective, well, or just generally, oftentimes doctors are on call. You heard about that? Doctors are on call, yes?
Yes.
Okay. And so he has these medical supplies in this bag, and it gets sent over to you, yes?
Yes.
Now, could we go to 103, please, Mr. Dirks? Okay. And here, and this was in the bag as well, right?
Correct.
And in the bag, there was his workplace identification badge with all this stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I would imagine, as a detective, one of the things you deducted is that this was likely a work bag for him as an anesthesiologist, yes?
Yes.
Okay, we can take that down. Now, sir, after the discovery of this bag and its contents, you understood or learned that Gerhardt worked at Maui Memorial Hospital for a group called TMG or something like that, yes?
Yes. And
who is, well, let me ask it to you this way. Dean Terakawa who is Dean Terakawa in relation to this case?
Well, he's a detective who also assisted with the case.
Okay, so you were the lead detective, yes?
Yes.
But Detective Terakawa was I guess a partner detective kind of helping you with the case.
Just
yes?
assisting us.
Assisting, yes?
Yes.
And so there'd be things you if you were busy or had other things, you would tell Detective Terakawa, hey, go follow up with this, and he would do it, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, and then you would review as the lead detective his work and his reports, yes?
Yes.
And one of the things that you, or I guess, well, either instructed Detective Terakawa to do, or he, did as part of it, is after this work bag with the ID was found, you asked him to contact someone from Maui Memorial Medical Center, yes?
Yes.
And that person's name was Amber Bartle, correct?
Yes.
And Amber Bartle was the executive director of compliance for the hospital, right?
Correct.
She's the person that deals with compliance with, everything, you guys wanted to talk to her about the appropriateness of him having these, vials and things like that at his house, correct?
Yes.
And you interviewed her, right?
I didn't interview
I'm
her.
sorry, and Detective Terakawa interviewed her about it, right?
Yes.
And you guys have her contact information, and you've been in touch with her. She was cooperative when you guys talked to her, yes?
Yes.
One second, Detective. That's all the questions I have for you, sir. Thank you for your time.
Any reader?
No, you don't.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we made a good time today. I'm going to release you for the day. Leave your notebooks on your chair. No trial tomorrow, for sure. Today's the holiday. I will ask you to come back on Friday. So we'll continue on Friday, 9:30. Come up to the 4th floor. Between now and when you come back, don't talk to anybody about this case. Keep an open mind. Do not try to learn about this case outside of the courtroom. You see the cameras, don't watch any media. There's reporting on it. Turn off the TV or walk out of the room if it starts to come onto the TV. I hope all of you have a safe drive home. I hope you enjoy and actually get some time off tomorrow. We'll see you all on Friday morning. All rise.
Concern with the way that examination of Detective Spacek just ended. At the motions eliminated hearing, Your Honor, the state was allowed to introduce the photos of the contents of Dr. Konig's bag, the Nike fanny pack from Maui, for the purpose of showing the defendant's actual possession of syringes and vials. At that hearing, the state did disclose to the court and argued, so the court should be aware, that Ms. Bartow did provide a statement about Maui Medical's their requirements for how anesthesiologists will get those syringes and vials for each case. And what Ms. Bartow told the police was not, it's okay for Dr. Konig to have those things. What she said is that each anesthesiologist will remove those items from what's called the Pyxis cart on a case-by-case basis. Now, the court excluded the state from getting into that, and I understand the court's reasoning.
It was a prior bad act, right? Or could be conceived as a prior bad act.
Yes, but now with the examination and the way the questions came out, it was heavily implied to the jury that Ms. Bartow is cooperative and would somehow testify that the defendant had absolute permission from Maui Memorial Medical to have those items. So I am asking the court to revisit that issue.
If I may, what was turned over in discovery is this, and I'll read it to you. Dear Detective Terakawa, I'm following up regarding an organizational review you had requested regarding our facilities policies. There are barcodes on all medication that are still in their commercial vials. We have 2 policies that govern how drugs are stored and accessed. Automated dispensing cabinet and controlled substances. There is not a specific policy for anesthesiologists. Within the policies address authorized access, distribution and handling, and the audit reconciliation. Since anesthesiologists are normally accessing the anesthesia Pyxis cart, during a procedure, they log into the Pyxis using their bio ID and it unlocks. They input what they're taking out of the Pyxis, document Pyxis transaction, and document in the electronic health record what they're administering to the patient. All of the meds on the list provided are non-controlled, and then it lists the meds. Please let me know if you also receive feedback on if the prosecutor, wants to do a search warrant for the locker in the facility. If you have clarifications, let me know. That's what we were provided, that there's no policy and that there was no policy violation, at least that she indicated. So simply asking him, he brought up what the detective did as part of this investigation. So I'm just following up on who else he interviewed, such as Jeff Miller and Amber Bartle. So, and he could have objected if he thought it was a problem, and he didn't. So that's all I asked is if he interviewed her, she was the compliance person, if he interviewed her. That doesn't now open the door to prior bad acts or anything like that.
Anything else you want to add, Mr. Konig?
I think the word using the phrase opening the door is not correct. Opening the door is involved with, the entrance of evidence that's inadmissible. And I'm not saying that what Mr. Otake was asking is, I'm not arguing that what he was saying was inadmissible. What I'm saying is it does make relevant, and it's essentially using the motions of limited ruling of this court as a sword rather than a shield. So that's the issue that's here.
No, I understand the argument, because the impression is left that Ms. Bartel believed that this was complying with hospital policy.
I never asked that.
I understand. But at this point in time, the court's not going to take any further action. If there is other evidence that makes possession of the vials or medication and compliance with hospital policy relevant, then we can revisit the issue at that point in time.
I'm happy to revisit in the future if that happens. I'll also probably raise before closing an argument.
I'm sorry?
I'll also probably raise before closing whether this is something that should be argued at this point as well.
Say that again, Mr. Martin.
I'll raise before closing whether there should be any limitations on the type of argument with regards to that type of evidence.
Well, I understand, yes. Okay. Anything else you want to take up on record?
Nothing else.
How about you, Mr. Otake?
On record before Friday, well, yes, actually. And I was going to do it Friday, but it might be worth doing now.
Sure.
As the court is well aware, one of the main discovery rules is that we need to be provided with any statements of the defendant. We need to be provided with that prior to trial. I believe that Emile Konig will be testifying potentially on Friday. We have been provided with one recorded, we've been provided one recorded statement of an interview that was done by a Maui officer or detective of Emile Konig, in which he says certain things about what his father said to him, statements of the defendant. There were subsequent investigator report forms that were, given to us later, but that dealt with other issues like, bank accounts and things like that. It is extremely important that Emile Konig not be allowed to say anything else about what Dr. Konig, his dad, the defendant, said to him, because that's a statement by the defendant. So I just point that out, and I think if there's other things that he has said to the prosecutors that they plan to get into that hasn't been turned over to us, that's a problem. And if to assist the court with that, I don't know if the court wants his recorded statement or not. I think he should be informed that that's what he needs to limit it to, and be given, he should have an opportunity to read it. Because if there's other statements he's gonna say that was said to him, they have not been turned over to us, so that would be a big discovery violation and a big problem. And so I raise that now, so hopefully the state can advise him of that he can't go beyond the statements that have been provided in his recorded statement.
Mr. Garner, anything else you want to add?
Yes, Emile did provide a recorded statement to the Maui Police. He also told several other people what he heard the defendant say that day, and Emile's characterizations of that conversation regarding that have been turned over to the defense. So the other places those are from is from Peter Mast, Judith Mast, and Jessica Patella-Ray. So Emile's statements about what the defendant told him come from those 4 sources.
So
The state also may ask, Emile was also asked, did the defendant, or did he tell you anything else? And Emile said no. So it is also fair game in the state's fine to ask, you weren't told this, you weren't told that. But that's the universe that we're working in, is primarily Emile's statements, and then there's some additional details provided in the other 3 statements as well.
So if I can clarify this, and this is where I have some concerns. So there was a recorded statement that he gave to the Maui detective in which he said Gerhardt said certain things to him. And that's what was turned over as far as his statements about what the defendant said. Okay. Subsequently, or as they interviewed Ms. Konig's parents, Judy and Peter Mass. In those interviews, they double hearsay say, oh, Emile told us this. Emile told us that his dad said this. But that wasn't Emile saying that his dad said this. Those are other people saying double hearsay what Emile's said his dad said. So that's different. That's not him saying it. So he should be limited to what the statements he gave to the detective that was turned over to us about what his father said. That's what the scope is as far as what he's told the detectives his father said. That's what was turned over to us. There was nothing else from him. Double hearsay from others saying, this and that is different, and that wasn't turned over to us. If the prosecutors have talked to him about it since then, and he's told them more than what's in his recorded statement, then they should have informed us of that prior to the trial, which they did not.
Okay.
Emile has not informed the state of any additional statements beyond what I discussed already. So
And that's what I'm talking about. Anything beyond what he told the
it was
detectives.
disclosed.
Hold on. Anything beyond what he said to the detective in the detective interview, law enforcement interview, if he subsequently told the prosecutors more than that, they should have disclosed that to us. That, on this date we interviewed him and he said the defendant also said this, this, and this, which apparently has happened and was not disclosed.
We're making him out of more, though.
No, we're not.
Emile
This is
didn't go-
critically important.
Okay. The defendant's statements to Arielle Konig were disclosed in these 4 different interviews that I've referenced.
Okay.
He has not gone further than what has been disclosed in those statements.
Okay.
He gave one recorded statement. And what I'm apparently hearing is there's been subsequent interviews of Emile with the prosecutors where he told them more than what's in his detective interview. And we have not received any subsequent follow-up report from prosecutors, investigators saying during this interview on December 10th, he told us, these other things.
The question is Emile going to testify to anything that has already been, anything beyond what's already been turned over in discovery? That's the real issue.
And I do not believe that.
Anything beyond, but that, okay, so this is where, so the rule requires that any statements of the defendant that they know of, they need to turn over. That's the rule. Okay. They gave us the transcript of his recorded interview with the detective, where certain things were said. Okay. That's if he has subsequently said other things to them directly, they should have turned that over to us. Now, double hearsay, like Ari's parents saying, oh, he told us that Gerhardt said this, is double hearsay. It's not directly from him. If they followed up with him on that, and then he told them again on, November 10th, December 10th, in phone calls with the prosecutors, that he said more than what was in the detective interview, they should have told us that. That should have been produced.
If it's anything new, I agree. And here's the rule.
It's new because if it's directly from him, it's new. It was never directly from him. It was always double hearsay.
This is what the rule requires. Any written or recorded statements and the substance of any oral statements made by the defendant needs to be turned over as part of disclosure by the prosecution. Anything beyond that, the court already ruled, granting defendant's motion in limine, it's paragraph number 9 that actually cites that rule, will prohibit the prosecuting attorney from using during trial any undisclosed statements, written or oral, beyond that of Rule 16b(1)(2), which I just cited. And I think we're going to follow that, right? So what needs to be turned over is any written or recorded statements of Dr. Konig, as well as the substance of any other oral statements that he might have made. And if it's in the discovery, that's going to be the substance of the oral statements. That's why I asked, is there anything beyond what has already been turned over? And if the answer is no,
The answer is no.
and if there is anything else beyond the substance, then that's going to get precluded by the court's motion in limine.
The court wants to review the transcripts I've been discussing where it states 172, 174, 176, 178.
Wait, I'm sorry, 172, 174, 176?
178.
Do I really need to do that?
No, I'm just pointing them out if we need to reference them later.
Okay.
There were 2 transcripts of Ms. Patelli. I can't remember which one Emile's statement about what the defendant said is in. So, anyway.
Okay. Anything else you were concerned about, Mr. Otake?
Nothing further on that. Emile should be advised that he can't go beyond what's in there.
Do you want Mr. If there's a concern, do you want Mr. Garner to lead? You can think about that.
Well, I just want him to be advised that he can't just blurt out things that he's never told anyone yet about it.
Well,
I'm not saying I don't want Mr. Garner to lead, but I want Emile to just be advised that the scope of his testimony is limited to now what Mr. Garner has indicated. That's all.
Yeah, the order has granted defendant's request, prohibiting the state from using any undisclosed statements of the defendant. We're gonna follow that.
No, I understand, and I just want him to know that. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then, counsel, thank you. We'll adjourn for the day. Is there anything else we need to take up off record before I let you go?
I'll just
Off record, that is.
scheduling off record.
Yeah, we can do that up at the bench.
Okay. Thanks a lot.